Morning, everybody. Welcome to another amazing reading installation from the Pink Room with the Unicorn. Two things before I read the chapter that's going to get into the balloon ascension is you have a spring break assignment. Yes, you do. And it's learn a life skill. What do I mean by learn a life skills? Yes, for a moment, just looking at my hair. You don't have to focus so much on the books, though I'd like you to keep reading. But I'd like you to think about learning a skill, something you can get a groove in. So build a model. Really learn all your family recipes, or a whole bunch of them, and really learn them. Or build something, like how about a little working electric motor, like out of wires and paper clips? Or like a cardboard house you can sit in, or do a really big artwork. Write that book. So many of you have been saying, I'm going to write that book. Write that book. Or study maps online and really learn about your neighborhood. While you're walking around your neighborhood, take some time with it. The reason I put David Rumsey is that's an excellent site with an archive of maps, and there's many Oakland, Berkeley maps in there that are old and amazing. And they'll put them over Google Maps. It's called a georeferencer. I'll do more. The other thing, because I did say two things, is I want to recommend something to do when you're feeling down. And I'm totally serious. It's called Dance Party. Sound, please. I'll play that one more time. Yes, that's us getting the neighbors out for a safe, socially distant dance party. And I gotta say, it really lifted everybody's spirits. You really might want to give it a try. Okay, let's jump in. It's a great chapter. Chapter 14. In August, San Francisco bricklayers went on strike. No one was buying bricks. The factory laid off its workers, including Horace Fitz, and a lot of the other boarders at the Gates house. Other tradesmen went on strike too. It had a ripple effect. People were starting to be out of work. While trying to think up new ways to earn money, Reddy spotted an announcement in the newspaper, the Commercial Advertiser. Grand balloon ascension from Contra Costa. That's Oakland. On Sunday, 28th August, the Mammoth Balloon, California, the largest ever constructed in America, when inflated, capable of carrying 3 persons, will ascend from Contra Costa on Sunday, August 28th. Under the personal supervision of Mr. Kelly and Goodall, 1 o'clock. Mr. Kelly will leave the Earth for the upper regions, accompanied by a lady, which will be the most magnificent spectacle ever witnessed in California. Arrangements have been made with the Contra Costa Ferry Company, ferry, which we'll notice will be given us for those who wish an opportunity to witness this spectacle. Balloon ascension. Reddy showed the ad to Max. Sounds fun, said Max. More than fun, it's a way to earn money. How? San Francisco's first balloon ascension. Hundreds of people will go. Let's sell something. Peanuts. Nah. The fruit vendor I worked for just received a huge shipment of oranges. I'm sure he'd give us a really good price. When all those people get hot and thirsty, we could sell them for $1 a piece. Peanuts are lighter to carry. We'll make more money with oranges, Max. In the end, Max agreed. Reddy found Lydia washing the supper dishes at Mrs. Salem's boarding house. I brought you more newspapers. Keep your tiresome papers. What's wrong? She flung her dish rag into the basement. We've chased shadows for months, buying ads, putting hopes on a letter that went up in smoke, putting our eyes reading out the fine print in a never-ending stack of newspapers, looking for the wrong person. But that was before. Now we know Hezekiah Waldo was in Marysville the same time as her brother. He has to be the one. Maybe. In any event, I'm not around I may not be around to read newspapers with you anymore. Lydia, what do you mean? Horace has asked me to marry him. He's leaving for Oregon, and he wants me to accompany him as his wife. Reddy tried not to show dismay. What did you tell him? I need time to think about such a very big decision. I hope you say no. Oh, you do? You think I should toss away my only chance for a decent life? Grow old scrubbing floors in a boarding house, reading Downeyville Mountain Echo in my spare time? Lydia, you're 16, said Reddy. This isn't your only chance for a decent life. You came to California to be with your brother. Remember your plans to travel? Maybe start a store? Why don't you wait? I don't think we're ever going to. Reddy awkwardly placed his hand on her arm. But now we know the name of the man Joseph works for. Maybe we do and maybe we don't. We're no closer to finding him. She wiped her eyes with the dish towel. Horace is a good man, Lydia, said Reddy. But if you marry him, shouldn't it be for himself and not because you just can't find your brother? Lydia glowered at Reddy. She stomped off and slammed the door behind her. Sunday morning. Reddy and Max bought as many oranges as they could carry in 2 large canvas bags. They caught the 10 o'clock ferry. Across the bay, the hills of Contra Costa that had looked so green in spring were now faded to golden brown. That's Oakland. As ferry boat approached its destination, Reddy reminded himself this new town was now called Oakland, though most San Franciscans still referred to it as Contra Costa. That's the Spanish name, meaning the other coast, from the San Francisco mission. Okay. The boys followed the crowd to a small yard on 3rd Street in Oakland. A huge yellow silk balloon lay spread out on the ground, connected by a hose to a gas-making apparatus. Hot air. A rigging of knotted cords surrounded the balloon as if someone had flung a large fishing net around it. The rigging was tied to just a simple wooden hoop, 3 feet wide, underneath the balloon. Eventually, a big wicker basket would be attached to the hoop, but for now it was off to the side. Reddy peeked in and saw sandbags, blankets, a picnic hamper. Provisions for the trip. The men fumbling with the gas-making machine appeared to be having problems. It wasn't hard to pick out Mr. Kelly. He paced back and forth nervously, barking instructions. Reddy and Max staked out a spot under a tree while one stood guard over the oranges. The other could explore Oakland. In an hour, they had seen everything the small town had to offer. The crowd had grown now to well over 1,000 people, and the ferries continued to bring more. Yet, a balloon remained only partially filled. Walk around and admire the scenery, folks. Mr. Kelly stood on a box and shouted at the crowd. The balloon won't leave until 1 o'clock. But it didn't leave at 1, and it didn't leave at 2. The ferry boats brought more people, and the day grew hotter. Still, the balloon was only partly inflated. Mr. Kelly reassured the crowd through his trumpet. Just a little while longer, folks, a little while longer. 2:30. Mr. Kelly launched 2 small unmanned balloons just to give people something to look at. They floated up and disappeared from sight. Reddy heard grumbling everywhere. He's a fraud. He's wasting our time. I'm hot. I'm thirsty. Reddy said, it's time. At 3, Reddy and Max started selling the oranges. They moved through the crowd. Reddy heard people shouting insults at the aeronaut. Mopping his face with a handkerchief, he finally announced it was time. Reddy scurried back with his remaining oranges and stood as close to the balloon as he could. It looked 2/3 full. The men fastened the basket to the balloon's hoop, and Mr. Kelly climbed in. Someone untied the rope, but it only moved sideways and not up. I told you this wouldn't work. He doesn't know what he's doing. Just a moment, folks. Things take time. He climbed out, and a smaller man climbed in. This helped slightly. The balloon rose 2 feet. Then it lurched sideways again. The basket bumped along the street until it came rest against a tree. Mr. Kelly ran after it, and Reddy followed. We must lighten the load. Remove the basket. The men detached the basket and lashed a 4-inch wide board across the middle of the hoop. A smaller man sat on the board. The balloon rose 6 feet and stopped. This balloon isn't going anywhere. This fellow doesn't know what he's doing. What's the next ferry boat home? Let a boy try it, someone shouted. Yeah, a boy. Reddy's eyes lit up. Ride a balloon? He'd love to. He'd handed his oranges and his money pouch to Max. I'll do it. Let me. The crowd parted, and Reddy strode purposefully to the balloon. He straddled the plank, which he'd sat on like a hobby horse as a child, and he let his legs dangle below. He grasped the thin ropes, attaching the balloon to the hoop, and called to Max, "Save me an orange!" "Pull this valve cord when you want to come down." He showed him a rope. Someone released the mooring rope, and the balloon rose 10 feet in the air. People clapped and cheered as a gentle breeze pushed it horizontally, beaming down at the sea of upturned faces. Reddy laughed with delight. A sharp gust of wind, though, grabbed the balloon, and he saw the ground fall away. He was going up, 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 rising very quickly. His heart thumped against his chest, and the shrieking crowd looked smaller and smaller. Mr. Kelly's voice boomed through the trumpet, "Pull the valve cord!" Reddy seized it, and he pulled. Nothing happened. He pulled harder. It broke off in his hand. As he stared in disbelief at the frayed rope, the earth below fell farther and farther away. Okay, that is the end of chapter 14. There's 2 more. And here, take a look. See, that's what he looked. And remember, this part, she really researched carefully, and this is a totally true story. That this red-haired boy named Reddy Gates sat on that plank across the hoop, and the balloon ran away. And remember, I showed you at the beginning, here's a map of his route. Am I showing that flat? Is that good? There we go. There we go. Come on. See? Oakland to, whoa. That's like beyond Walnut Creek. Okay. Chapter 15 tomorrow. I'll be really reaching out to families and looking to talk to you all. Look at the camera, Rob. Okay. Take care, guys.